Oh, hi! I finished the rose garden tea house, as you can see. So there was a lot of gardening and construction going on, but it turned out beautiful, and I hope you'll stick around and see how I did it. While you do that, I think I'll read my book. See you at the end. All right, here we go. We're gonna finish this today. Now, this is my old footage. It's kind of funny trying to figure out what you did before, because it was last September that I did this. But basically, what I did do is I cut out the little wallpaper pieces, and I stuck this one down to the base. It's interesting, there's no lines to go by or anything like that. You just kind of have to line it up how they say on the little chart. Once you get it all glued together, then you take your little pattern pieces here, and then you put them on your green grass velvet looking thing. Now what I did, and I can see it right there, is I flipped it upside down. So you imagine what's going to happen, right? I put things right side up, but I flipped it. I should have kept it right side up. I thought I was being clever, but you know. Normally, the patterns are right side up, and then you just flip them upside down if you want to do it on the bottom. Now, so you're going to see here that I did it completely backwards and all over, and that's the only piece of this velvet stuff I have, or they gave us, and what am I going to do? Well, I have an idea. Luckily, I have a static grass maker. So what we'll do is I'm going to paint this completely green, all the spots that they wanted to have grass, just so that when I put my static grass on it, it won't show through brown. And this is where we are today. I figured out what I wanted to do here. So I got the static grass and got it reasonably the color I want. And just, I like using, with my static grass, I like using plain old regular school glue. It's got a nice water base, and it's cheap too. You don't need to have fancy static grass glue. Because once the water evaporates and it dries, it just dries pretty clear, and it works great. It's a good conductor. Yeah, the only problem with this is it gets everywhere. So I'm just going to blow it away, let it dry, and let it set for a while. And there we go. Like it never happened. I even purposely went along the edges, just like they showed in the picture. I actually like this better, but if I would have cut the other ones right, it probably would have turned out fine. Alright, they have an easy little fence. So what I did is I just cut the wire to length, and then just kind of glued the little, what do you call it, the slats in place. And I'll tell you from the future, it did not stay. So I probably would have used a alcohol-based glue on this one to make it stick. And then I just set it aside. I'm going to put the post that doesn't have a hole, I'm going to glue that in place rather than all together. It wouldn't have stayed together anyway. All right, lights. So they give you a bunch. But the first light it's an easy little candlestick. So my best suggestion is when you cut your little piece of gold, to pre-curl it. It'll make your life a whole lot easier, believe me. Just curl it up. And then we're going to glue it around the light, just so that just the tippy top kind of shows. Just make believe it's a little candle. And then we're going to stack all the beads. And then you got a little candlestick. Then you're going to make kind of a candelabra looking thing. I thought this was going to be hard. It's not that bad. Just take it piece by piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this flower shape and put it on your light. And then you're going to cut out this star from your plastic. It doesn't make sense at first, but we'll just do it, and then I'll trust the process, basically. You do need this piece. So like I said, we're going to put the flower on first here. And then there's a little gold, brass, whatever color, rivet that goes on the top there to finish it off. And then I ended up gluing it just to secure it in place. And then you're going to put this star piece. You're going to notice I use my alcohol-based glue, which is all clumpy. But it's going to go, you're going to rotate it just a little bit so that the little petals go in between the flower petals. Just like that. It's important because this kind of holds all your little pieces together. You kind of need this little barrier. And then you glue the smaller flower bead on top of that. So it kind of makes that dome shape, that candelabra chandelier look. That's the word I want. It's actually turned out really cool. We're going to let that dry, and then in the meantime we're going to make our candles. Now they wanted you to stick the little rivets on, or the candle holders on, and then put your little candles in there. I decided to build it all on the outside first and then put it on the chandelier. It worked for me. I just figured that the more I fiddled with that chandelier, it's going to fall off. So what you're going to do, and I left my wire long on purpose. It's easier to handle, and you just cut just the plastic off so it reveals the copper inside, so it looks like a little candle, and then you cut it to size. That's my best recommendation. If you can, keep the wires long so that you have a handle to hold on to. And then I'm just going to glue each little candle right into the little holder. And I did do this upside down. So it actually, the little rivets, the rim goes on top. I do flip it later. And this just, the location of the candles did throw me off just for a second. I started trying to put it on the curvy piece or the flower. And then I realized, oh, it goes on the flat. That's the reason we put it there. is to hold the little candles there and the bottom piece. And I looked all over for the little bead that looked like a little point. And then I realized it's a little tiny screw, kind of like a eyeglasses screw. And it sticks on the bottom there, kind of like your finial. And then you have one more light. This one's easy too. So you're gonna first start with stringing the little flower piece on. Then you have the little rivet at the top. I started running out of pieces, so it might not be the same colors that they wanted, but I just used what I had left over. I might have used the wrong piece in a different area, but it still works. It's fine. And then you put this flat piece on top of that. That just gives it a something to put against the ceiling. And then you're going to glue this little tulip looking piece on the bottom. It kind of sets there, so just place it as best you can. And on the very bottom, you have this little flat button piece. Alright, we're just going to try to make all the odds and ends before we have to put it together. And we have these little signs to do. Pretty straightforward, just cut the paper out, glue it to the wood, and you got 3 little signs. And we have a little bit of greenery going on here. So we got some topiaries or shrubs. So there's 2 cones. They're tall, skinny cones. I actually did cut out the patterns of all my, because there's a different color of velvet. Luckily, I didn't use up all this. It's darker green. So I'm just going to cut out the patterns and then cut out the green velvet. To make these cones or little Christmas trees or whatever you want to call them, I found the best bet, and it is paper backed, so it's nice and stiff, is to pre-curl them. And line it up the best you can on the bottom of it. So I found if you glue it on the bottom, clamp it, and then just kind of fiddle with the tops. Because when you put it in the your final piece, just put the crease in the back. They'll never see it. Just make it look good from the front. And you'll end up with 2 of those. One tall one, one short one. This little hedge, it's kind of like a half circle, sorta, kinda. It's going to be kind of like a fence on the side of your little tea house here. So it's 2 pieces of wood, and you're going to glue those together, and then you're going to cover it in your green felt. There is another step to some of these, but we're going to save it and do them all at once because it's a little bit of a messy project and we want to just do it all at once. This one confused me a little bit because the picture doesn't completely look like what it does when you're done. But as long as you get a little hedge mound shape, I consider that a win. So I'm just folding it how they say on the little diagram, your template, and you get kind of, it looks like a little hat, a little beanie hat. While that's drying a little bit, we'll get ready for our putting the little, what would you call it? Dried flowers on it to make it look more hedgy. So all you're going to do is just take they give you a lot. So kind of like when you take, if you've ever picked off rosemary and things like that, just against the grain, just pull up all the little buds off of there. And make a nice little pile because you're going to do 2 of them. And this little hat guy, you're going to fold it inwards a little bit just to, I'm thinking, like a little hem. It's pretty stiff and it's not that hard to do. I thought it wasn't going to stay, but it's kind of got a paper backing that helps you. Doesn't have to be perfect. Hedges aren't always perfect. At least ours aren't. Then you're just going to double glue all over it and put your little hedge parts on there. Kind of like when you're putting glitter on. And we'll do the same thing to our other one. And then all our hedges are ready. Surprisingly, for how much plants are on this cute little house, you don't have to make a whole lot, which is kind of a relief. There's a lot of provided pre-made plants, which is totally fine by me. So this one, we've done this kind of thing before. This paper is really strange. It's kind of like vinyl almost. But you're going to fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again. And then you're going to cut your leaf shape. When I cut this out, I didn't use the template. I just kind of eyeballed it. We know what the leaves are supposed to look like. Just don't cut all the way through down to the end. Kind of like when you make paper dolls. You got to leave a little bit to hang on there. And if you did cut through, it's no big deal. We'll just glue it all together. Now I could have kept it all together, but I decided to unravel it and then roll it up. Just to try to make it a little more floppy like a plant. And then glue it. Okay, we've done this. We can do this in our sleep pretty much. The little fringies. So there's going to be 2 of them. One's a little bigger than the other. So just cut your little rectangle. You're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to fold it in half again and fold it in half again. And then fringe it up. Roll it up, glue it together, and then floof it out. There you go. And then you're just going to take some of your little pink little beads, knobs, and you're just going to glue it all over the place. You can put as many as you want. It's your project. They give you plenty. And we're going to do the same thing on the other one. It's just a little bit smaller. And we got one more. This is it on the plants. Not bad. And this one's got yellow little flowers on it. So you're just going to take a few of those, and same thing. You're going to get your little rectangle, fold it in half, and then fold it in half a million times more and fringe it up. And then put your little yellow flowers on there. I never ended up using all the paper that they gave me, so you could make a whole bunch of these if you wanted to. Just put them all around your little tea house. Alright, we're gonna start building walls. This is more got the walls are more like a greenhouse, I would say. So we're gonna have a lot of plastic film that we're gonna stick on, except for this wall. This one's gonna be one of our one and only solid walls. So they have a little window that fits in this hole, and you are going, well, I did, just sand it as you need it until it fits in that hole. Just use your little nail file and just sand away. They do give you a little piece of sandpaper too. And then we're going to glue our little wallpaper piece. It only fits on one little side there. After I sanded this little window down, it fit nice and tight, so I didn't feel like I needed to glue it. If it's loose, definitely just put a little dabble of glue in there. And then the other window area, it's going to be covered in this plastic film. So just use your template, cut it out, and glue it on. All done. And this glue does dry clear, so no worries there. Now I'm just showing that I pre-cut out all the plastic pieces for all these walls. And that's what I do. I just do it all ahead of time. And then all I have to do now is just glue the corresponding plastic with the blue walls. I did, because of that static grass that got everywhere, I ended up having to get my lens wipes out. These are great. If you don't have these and you have glasses, I highly I get like 100 little they're like alcohol wipes at Walmart or whatever, and they'll clean all my little glass. I'll have to do it again because it just picks up every little piece of lint and cat hair. And now let's just glue all our pieces. one thing I am going to say is I had to go to the back of the book to see where these pieces go, and I had to make sure, especially with this funky little triangle, which side is going to face up so that you can put your plastic on the underside so it looks right. So that's the only a lot of the pieces had printing only on one side, so that helps. You know, put all the plastic on the underside. Takes a little bit of thinking. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Alright, then there's these little triangles. Now, I'm imagining that they must have got a lot of feedback because I had regular triangles and then I had this little box or bag. And it says, replace those triangles with this. They probably should have took the other ones out. But they probably just threw them all in, you know, that kind of thing. So, don't use those. Nope. Use these. And I did have to check. They are slightly different. So the other ones probably didn't fit right. We've been there. So I'm going to use these. They even give you an extra little piece of plastic. So let's cut them out. Yeah, see, there's the old one on top and there's the new one. So they're a little bit bigger, longer, and different angle. No problemo. And each one's different. Alrighty, now we're going to make the door. There's a couple ways you can do this. So first off, we're just going to cover the door with the film. Make sure it's on the back side. One side has a printing, one doesn't. And there's a little tiny window at the very top. It doesn't matter which side, they're both the same. We'll just do that one. Alright, this is only if you want your door to open and shut. I gave it a go. I'm using my little hand drill, and I'm going to try to make the tiniest of holes. I really tried. I tried to make this work. It just seemed to, no matter how much I put, I was gentle, it just shattered the wood. It doesn't drill very easily. Maybe if you used a pin. But even then, I used the wire itself and to try to jam it in there. And it just kind of, it's particle board, so it kind of disintegrated on me. It didn't work. But I tried. So I'm just going to, if you didn't do the other part, just start here. So I'm just going to put the little window on the top there. And then on the door, we're going to build the handle. To make this handle, I would highly recommend just keeping your wire long. It'll save you a headache. They give you more than enough of this brass wire. So you're going to string the two, the little, look like little cups. And then there's a little bead in the middle. And just make sure those cup beads are facing the correct direction, because it's going to make sense in a minute. And then you're going to, because you have put film there, just make sure you drill a little hole there so that your wire can go through. And then you're going to string your door handle through. And this is why I say keep it long, because this is a lot easier when it's longer. And then you're just going to trim it down to size. After it's trimmed down, you just fold it down like a staple. And you got yourself a cute little door handle. I didn't even have to glue it because it was nice and tight. And there's a open close sign here. So you can choose if you're open or you're closed, because it's got both sides. And first you're going to do the little, the hanger on the top. Now you couldn't make this ahead of time. Well, you could have, but you don't want to glue it together because it's got to go around the door handle. So just bend it into a funky little shape, look like a little mustache there. However you want, honestly. If you want to just make a big U, that's fine. And then we're just going to cut out our signs and put it cardboard in the middle. One side says open, one side says closed. Alright, we need our door handle now. So we're going to put the little handle, or the hanger, around the door handle, and then you're going to glue the sign to it. So I just set it to the side, kinda, and then just let it dry. Now this is me trying, I'm really trying to get this to work. So this is the idea. You put your little wire in there. It kind of worked at the bottom, but the top just did not want to work for me at all. And then you're going to put a little piece of wire, teeny tiny piece of wire at the top as well. And then you're going to try to fit it into your door frame, which the door frame is very tight. After that not working out so great for me, I decided, and you're going to see right there, it's very tight in there. I'm just going to put it in the door frame and I'm going to glue it slightly ajar, just a little bit open. You could glue it in any position you want. And I'm just using a pencil to hold it open for now and just gluing the hinge. Good enough. That's what I say. Alright, we have one more solid wall. This is the only solid... I lied. The other one wasn't the only solid wall. This is the second one. So I'm just going to mark where they want this little picture to be. And you're going to see towards the end when I build the building, it's very strangely built. But it's kind of cool too. So this picture, you are not going to see from the front. You're going to see it from the back. That's different, where they actually think about what the back looks like. And then we have this little funky piece, little platform that goes inside our building. And you just cover it and then edge it on the sides. On the side of our little cafe, we have a outdoor bar area there. And you're just going to wrap this piece here. I would say the only tricky part is trying to figure out where the hole is. So I tried to pre-punch it out on one side, glued it together, and then punched it out on the other. And then you have two more of these little clasp things, and you're just going to open it up, and it's just going to be the shelf brackets. So you're going to open it up into an L shape and glue them on underneath. This is for our outdoor patio. So we got these little, think of like cinder blocks of our decking. So you're going to take two of these little teeny tiny little squares, glue them together so that out of the 4, you end up with 2. And then you're going to glue your little step. Just make sure you put it in the right spot. And then you're going to put your little feet on the side there too. The feet, they don't need to be exactly in place, just enough out there so that it doesn't wobble when you put it on your building. Alright, and then once you got all that glued together, we gotta cover our little decking with our decking wallpaper. This one's not too bad. The only maybe funky part is it overlaps on 3 sides. So the 2 sides, they just fold over. And you once you have that far right and then the little, looks like castle wall jaggeds there, you line that up, then everything else should fall into place. And just fold it over the edges. When you get to the steps, you just kind of fold it down, fold it down. I don't know if pre-creasing would help much because you don't know, it doesn't have any indicators of where the creases would be ahead of time. So you kind of have to just smoosh it on there with a lot of glue. I ended up holding this a long time just to keep it down because clamps don't help much. Look a little something like this, like a little deck or a dock. we got all our little parts and pieces all made up. Now we got to start getting serious about putting it all together. First, there's a couple little things you got to do first. And there's a couple, this one has a bar on the inside of the window. So just measure out how far up. If you get it off a little bit, I don't think it matters much. Just get it close. And I'm going to glue it over there. It'll be a little blue bar with a couple of slanted braces on the bottom. This was probably the trickiest roof because you kind of pre-glue it at the angle, and I kind of lightly glued it on purpose because I knew it's not, no matter what angle I put it at, it's not going to be the one that I need. So just basically glue it enough so that it stays together so that you can put it on your roof eventually. And I did use my glue bottle to hold it up right and then let that dry. While the roof's drying, then I'm going to put my one light. It's the kind of the Christmas light, the fairy lights. It's going to start here on this pink piece. So just follow the diagram. It does work out. If you follow how many lights go where, it'll end up right. I promise, it did. You're going to glue it down the edge and then across the bottom. And there's a little punch out right there just for your wire. So you'll know you did it the right way up when you end up like that. All right, back to our roof. So it should be just dry enough to hold together. I'm still going to be gentle with it, and I'm going to still kind of prop it up when I put these other lights on. So we'll just set it against the bottle here. And there's the other two lights are going to go in here. So the dome light will go on the end here. And I try to pre-bend the wires as much as I can, because once you have it all closed up, there's no getting to it. So try to make it as straight as you need it. And then the chandelier is going to go a little bit away from the wall. So I'm just, you can't see it, it's off camera, but I'm bending the wire to the length that I need. And see, there you go. And you just glue it in. The only thing I would have done differently is maybe make sure that that chandelier is hanging down properly, because I did have to kind of smush it in the right spot. It still kind of is angled a little funky. All right, now the fun part. Let's build a building. Now I alternated with white glue and alcohol-based glue, just whatever. I use the white base to put in like the furniture and the walls, and I'm using the alcohol-based glue or super glue for these wires. They still kind of popped out though, so I'm clamping as I go, and you'll see that. With this roof part, just as predicted, it wasn't the right angle. So what I ended up doing is I glued in the one side, the left side first, because I knew how flush that would be. And then I glued the other side. And I also had to adjust the lights just a smidgen. All right. Wiring. So once I got to this point, they do give you extra wire, which is really nice. So I kind of, so that I can pull them all in the same spot, I did a little haircut. So all the top ones are at the same length, and then I added the extra length at the bottom. And I used my shrink tubes, which you just heat up with the heat gun, and it tightens all around. I test as I go to make sure before I seal up all those wires. Now they say to wrap this in kind of a vine or something. I started to try to do that, and then I decided, nah, I don't like that. So I just glued it down straight and then nice and tidy down the wall. Later on, when I put all the plants and things, I just covered it with the ivy looking stuff. And it looks just as good. And then we'll put it down through this little bitty hole here. And we're going to connect it to the power source with my shrink tubes. They do provide tape too, if you don't have that. I prefer these. They're a little more secure for me, and I'm used to it. I got a whole giant box of them that I got to use them up, so just heat them up there. And I'm testing as I go. I don't seal them up until I absolutely know for sure I got the right wires to the right wires. And they work. Yay! Look at that. All of them work. And one cool thing they have is this little fence. I like this kit because they consider what it looks like from the back as well as the front. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to put the rubber bands around there. And I can still get to the switch. That's good. And it just kind of pops right in there. That's what those little jagged edges were for. It's a little tricky, but it gets in there. There you go. Now mine came with a music box. I know it's kind of hit or miss if you get one or not. This one actually had one. So I'm just going to attach it to this little door. And remember that little picture we put on the pink wall? That's what shows through this door. Cool, huh? So I'm just going to screw this on. Nothing fancy here. And then I'm going to attach it to the wall. I did use my super glue because I'm figuring if we're cranking this a lot or people are fiddling with it, I want this to be stuck on good. There we go. Cute. I will say this little wisteria ivy thing, it looks cool at the end, but it was kind of a pain to put up there because you ever try to glue something hanging? It fell and fell and fell and fell and fell. So you just got to be really patient. Another thing that was a little bit annoying was the fence. That never really worked out right for me, so I fiddled with it a lot. It, as you can see, my pre-gluing didn't work much, so I just kind of glued it in place and played with it. The first time around, it wasn't pretty. I moved on to other things so that I'm not thinking about it too much, and then I went back and I fixed it a little better. And there we go. Super pretty. So much detail. There's a lot to see in there. And it's pretty when it's dark, and it's pretty when it's light. Oh, you finished? Fantastic. What'd you think? Pretty good. I know. Uh, it took a while, and there was some tiny, tiny pieces. I would say level-wise, I'm going to say a little bit intermediate. It's a little tricky, although you don't have to make a lot of plants, so that's good. that's a plus. It's just the little tiny teas, and well, they're not little here, they're life size, of course. But yeah, I like the results. It's beautiful. And the lighting, holy cow, there's a lot of lights in there. You could see it at night, which is good. You get nighttime business. You can have nighttime tea, right? So if you do like it, speaking of, definitely hit the little button down there. It's totally free. Also, subscribing is completely free. I mean, you could just watch this video over and over and over and over again, and I'd be just fine with that. No, thank you for all that have subscribed. I really, really appreciate you. I do. The support and the lovely comments. You guys are all very respectful. You're all very kind. And that's exactly the community we should have, right? Constructive criticism is always good. And nice compliments are too. Thank you very much. And oh, there's a new feature that I should point out. It's called Hype. And you'll probably see it on other videos too, not just mine. But you can click the little hype button, and I guess it's kind of like I don't know, I think it's partly a popularity contest, but you know, it pushes the particular video up the ladder to the masses, so to speak. And I know I'll never be at the top of the food chain, but that's totally fine. I am good right here. It's very comfy. But you can hit the hype button. I think you can do it 3 times a day or a week. I don't know, it's really new. I haven't read up on it a whole lot, but you could do that if you want to. It's not necessary. And like I said, subscribing and watching, it means way more to me, and likes than anything else. So now that our tea house is all done, a while ago we did a Viking village. That was interesting, huh? And what will be next? I think we're done with gardens and tea houses for a little while. We're going to get into the fall winter season. So we'll see what I come up with. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I got to finish my book.